In the early 1970s, BMW's motorcycle division was in trouble. There was talk of a possible closure. Bob Lutz saw the need to broaden the appeal of the brand, so he instigated the Big Bore Boxer project. Hans Muth was tasked with styling the new superbike. The resulting 90S was nothing short of miraculous. Both men must have been very pleased with their creation, but unfortunately for them and BMW, the image of the brand here in the UK remained like this. A 6'7" copper sat bolt upright on his jam-sandwiched RT, plodding around a dreary ring road. Unlike the gorgeous 90S, these bikes had the style of a transit van. I never saw a 90S to compare. Being an impressionable kid back then, cruising the California freeway like Ponch was more evocative than emulating a PC plod. A Triumph Bonnie was actually my dream bike at the time. Fortunately for the Bavarian brand, help was at hand, in the form of a Christmas gift. Although a flawed game in its concept, Top Trumps did showcase the latest bikes. No internet in those days. And the 77 BMWs compared favourably. Those Top Trump wins shone a bright light on an otherwise dull motorcycle brand. My teenage brain began to develop a new neural pathway. The definitive moment was at Calais in 1980, waiting for the hover speed to load. A dashing chap pulled up alongside on his RS. He'd just been to Monaco for the weekend. His silver blue RS looked incredible, streamlined, handsome, 1000 cc's. I wanted one. 10 years later, my first proper job afforded me the RS of my boyhood dreams. That particular bike served as my only means of transport through the early 1990s. It then spent 10 years hauling a sidecar for my dad, returning to me when he'd finished pretending to be Max Doibel. It's been raced by me ever since. Recently, I acquired this RS basket case project. I rebuilt it with the S-style fairing. I no longer commute or hammer the motorway, so have no need for the brilliant weather cheating ability of the RS. I find the bikini fairing provides enough wind protection for fast riding. The reduction in weight is a bonus, and the bike feels more roomy. On memory, the RS screen tended to direct the wind blast directly at my chin. The 980cc engine is the main event, with its unflustered metronomic delivery feeling unstoppable. The claimed 70 horsepower is really immaterial, as this engine is all about smooth torque with brilliant roll-on, roll-off grunt. With standard silencers, the delightful muted burble is accompanied by the roar from the clamshell airbox when you crank it open. It does like to rev, however, and will happily cruise at 100 miles an hour all day long. Dip down behind the lowish screen and listen to the big two-valver just ticking along. The ATE brakes are a bit weak, the side stand is somewhat aggressively sprung, and the handlebars are a bit narrow, but comfort, luggage capacity, tow-upability and the looks trumped most other bikes of the time. Although they had a price tag to match. Conceived in the same punk era, my favourite BMW broke new ground for the brand and motorcycling as a whole. The 80GS was the first factory-built adventure bike. Until then, the likes of Ted Simon and Chris Donaldson had globe-trotted on what was available. The GS set the benchmark for all RTW bikes to follow. With the tried and tested attributes of any Airhead, plus the all-terrain capable monoshock chassis, the GS makes a joyous travel companion. My bike is a GS copy, put together with cast-off parts. Original GS machines are now fetching big money, but my cheap and cheerful mongrel does roughly the same job. Okay, so my Mutant GS will never be exclusive like a real one, but in fairness to it, even with the heavy flywheel engine and the twin shocks at the back, it still works pretty well off-road. Maybe not as good as a real GS, but at a fraction of the cost, I'm pretty happy with it. Franz Popp, the creator of the spinning propeller brand, moved into motorcycle manufacture post-war. Popp's foreman, Martin Stoll, was so impressed by his Douglas Model B 500cc flat twin that it was basically copied by BMW. Chief engineer Max Fritz was set the task of creating a similar engine. That longitudinally mounted flat twin appeared in the Victoria KR1. It was Fritz, however, who later rotated the engine through 90 degrees to aid cooling when he designed the R32, BMW's first proper motorcycle. The Boxer was born and was set to endure to the present day. BMW's racing and speed record-breaking history is well documented. From the 1970s, it's Helmut Dahn's exploits at the Isle of Man TT that are written into Airhead folklore. Whilst Reg Pridmore cemented the 90S into racing history by winning the inaugural AMA Superbike Series in '76. And the 80 GS, ridden by Hubert Oriol, pictured left, won the gruelling Paris-Dakar in '81 and '83. His teammate Gaston Rayet took the title in '84 and '85 on a 1000cc version. With these inspirations in mind, I set about converting my first RS into a track racer. And what fun it's been trying to emulate those achievements. Although the Airhead had to be replaced, the Boxer concept lives on to this day. However, the resurgence of the cafe racer scene has breathed new life into the ageing Teutonic hulks. Now a transit van can be transformed into a thing of great beauty. The Airhead was, and still remains, one of motorcycling's greatest machines.